This is an issue of national security. Chuck Schumer wants to give amnesty to over 20 million illegal immigrants, literally replacing American voters with illegal votes. I think that that's really all you need to know about this topic. Pass the Save America Act immediately.
The Save America Act isn't about political parties. It's about citizenship. It's not about race, color, or creed. It's about the rule of law applied equally to all. And it isn't about who you choose to vote for. It's about protecting the power of your vote. Because your vote only has power if it is protected by clear, lawful standards. When verification is weak, confidence in elections erodes, and democracy itself suffers. If you need proof of citizenship to get a passport, a federal job, or to serve on a jury, why wouldn't the same standard apply when registering to vote in a federal election? What's at stake is whether government derives its power from the lawful consent of citizens, or whether that consent becomes unclear. The Save America Act simply aligns voter registration with existing federal standards by requiring proof of U.S. citizenship. If you're already legally registered, nothing changes. Same process, same vote, same voice. Government exists to serve its people, not the other way around. Of the people, by the people, and for the people. Protect the vote. Strengthen our democracy. Pass the Save America Act.
And it's happening right now at the White House. This is breaking news here on the Fox News Channel. We have just confirmed that President Donald Trump will sign an executive order that will make English the official language of the United States. In our nearly 250-year history, we've never had an official language, ever. The executive order expected to be signed sometime today. Bill Clinton made a move on this back in the 90s, but the mandate that he signed will now be rescinded. In other words, what he did in the 1990s is that he did not require agencies that worked for the government to provide English only. They had to provide more options for those who needed different languages upon which they spoke. Donald Trump's going to change that, and we'll see whether or not he sends it up to the Hill, Congress, maybe Speaker Johnson, John Thune. Maybe they jump on something like this with Republicans in control to sign it into law. You know, many times they've said, if you don't codify it, it doesn't last. But today, the executive order should come down from the Oval Office. All right, we got that. We've got this now from New
Let's listen here.
Filibuster try to outlast the Democratic minority under current rules. Do you have any expectation that you can succeed with that, given the enormous difficulty of doing that? In fact, the big majority has not been able to.
Right. Well, you know, I guess, and I would just remind people that the coin in the realm in the Senate is floor time. There's a finite amount of it, and we have a lot of things we have to do. There's a housing bill that's awaiting action, hopefully a market structure bill, possibly permitting reform, farm bill, highway bill. You can go right down the list. Russia sanctions. There are a whole bunch of things that could be teed up for action on the floor of the Senate. And so you have to make some judgments, and the conference will have a conversation about that. I've committed to that we will talk about that idea and determine whether or not what the conference's views are about it and how they want to proceed. As I said, we will vote on the SAVE Act, but exercising or triggering a talking filibuster has ramifications, implications that I think everybody needs to be aware of. So we will have those discussions, but that's obviously ties the floor up for an indefinite amount of time with not only unlimited debate, but also unlimited amendments.
All right, rather, we had the Senate Majority Leader and the Speaker of the House speaking at the same time. That's why we're jumping back and forth. But the bill has passed, funding DHS and the
for a vote. I think everybody in this room certainly should do it. And it's a bad vote for them because they're voting against things like voter ID and other things that are almost equal to voter ID. But when somebody says, no, we don't want voter ID, that means they're crooked. And the public understands it. You win elections with that. But I think it would be really important, Save America Act, if you would put that up for a vote. It's got my total endorsement. And all it is common sense things about the election, about it. And you. You know, 2% of the population produces 90% of the violent crime. Think of that. Think of that. And Washington now is a very safe place. I get it all the time. I go into the White House and people that work in the White House come up, sir, I want to thank you so much. Young woman, man. They say, I walk to work. I couldn't have walked to work. I wouldn't have even thought to walk to work before. They walk to work. The place is booming. Restaurants are opening up. The restaurants were almost going to be all closed. They would have been all closed. You couldn't even go. Even if you got there, the restaurant would be robbed with people sitting there. Hold up your hands, everybody. Give us your money. And then they'd whack people with the butt of a gun. And Washington is a very safe city. We have almost no crime. And it's a miracle, but it took place very quickly.
We want that level of cooperation from state and local officials. And if people are illegally obstructing our federal law enforcement operations, if they are targeting, doxing, harassing, and vilifying ICE agents, they are going to be held accountable, like this individual here, who again is a self-proclaimed member of Antifa. He is a domestic terrorist, and he will be held accountable in the United States.
Caroline, just to follow up on here,
But some churches are seeing a 30%, 50%, or even 70% increase in the number of converts and also the number of people going to church every week. To support this exciting renewal this morning, I'm pleased to announce that on May 17th, 2026, that we're inviting Americans from all across the country to come together on our national mall to pray, to give thanks, and we are going to do something that everyone said, like, that's tough. We're going to rededicate America as one nation under God. You know, a lot of people...
Is the administration concerned that the shakeup that we're seeing of DHS activity in Minneapolis could potentially embolden different obstructionist protesters around the country, as they now have a playbook on how to get ICE out of their cities?
No, because what you saw yesterday with the drawdown of 700 agents only occurred because the condition that the President of the United States set for local states, local counties to turn over illegal aliens to ICE has been met. The vast majority of counties, nearly every single county now in Minnesota, has made an agreement to notify ICE when they are releasing an illegal criminal from their jail. This is a huge win for the administration.
Is the